Coverage you can count on. KOMU 8 News on Mid-Missouri CW starts now.
Positive cases, active cases, positivity rate. You've heard plenty of these numbers throughout the pandemic, but the way these numbers are reported is different across mid-Missouri counties. Good evening, everyone. I'm Emily Spain. Thanks for joining us tonight. Some counties are including only specific parts of their population when reporting cases, deaths, and other statistics. KOMU 8's Zoe Henry joins us now from the newsroom with a closer look into why there's this discrepancy between the numbers.
Emily, we've spent months watching the COVID numbers for individual counties across mid-Missouri, looking for important trends. We found there is no set plan or pattern for how each county reports the number of cases and deaths in their communities. Across mid-Missouri, there has been a consistent trend of inconsistency. Almost every county records its COVID-19 case and death numbers differently. These inconsistencies can skew the reality of the pandemic. Take a look at Cole County, where the long-term care facilities are excluded from the total population numbers. As you can see, there's an asterisk next to the number of what the county says is the total. When you move to the bottom of the page, the asterisk reads, "This data does not include long-term care facility resident data." This data has a different number than the overall. In Callaway County, it separates its county correction numbers from the total population number. But in Boone County, there is no separation from total population.
No, if they are a resident of Boone County, then which we consider long-term care facility residents to be, then they're included in a Boone County number. If the person dies in Boone County but doesn't reside in Boone County, then they are not counted as a Boone County number. So if they die at one of our hospitals, but they're a resident of Cooper County, then we don't count them. Cooper County counts them. It's based on residency is how we look at it.
The lack of a standard statewide recording procedure could be the blame for these inconsistencies.
And that these other counties are doing it differently. I know that Jefferson County, I don't know if you've looked at their website or not, but early on, they were hit really hard with some outbreaks in long-term care facilities. So they include, my understanding is they include those numbers in their totals.
We contacted both Callaway and Cole counties this afternoon, but never heard back. In the newsroom, Zoe Henry, KOMU 8 News.
Let's take a look now at some of your newest COVID-19 numbers in this state. Missouri added 1,700 new cases today. The positivity rate just barely went down from 11.5% to 11.4%. Boone County recorded 104 new cases. That's the most since September 4th. 389 are active. About 1,000 people are in quarantine as close contacts in Boone County. Kenton.
All right, Emily, take a look here. Satellite and radar showing some clouds still, of course, moving through, but a lot of our rain coming to an end. We still have some drizzle, some mist, a little bit of some spitting moisture coming down, but nothing is freezing currently. As we zoom in a little closer, you can see where just some of this brief sprinkle is coming through Cole County into Jefferson City and southern Montauk County also. But when we look hour by hour, we're going to hold on to that cloud cover and some of that drizzle overnight tonight. Then tomorrow, as we head towards the afternoon, we're just mostly cloudy, but we're mostly dry on your Wednesday. Best chance for sunshine is going to be closer to Macon, north of Highway 36. And then rain starts to move in Wednesday night into Thursday. That's going to be our next chance for rain. And right now, when we have that drizzle, it's not freezing drizzle because last night when we were around freezing, we're 5 degrees warmer. We're above freezing in the middle and upper 30s. I'll track the rain for the rest of the week and our new pattern change coming up.
Okay, thanks, Kenton. Some Columbia public school classrooms are now in quarantine after the school board voted to allow elementary students to return to in-person learning last week. CPS released an updated COVID tracker that will provide the number of students and staff affected by the virus throughout its buildings. The tracker was developed after a number of either positive cases or close contacts came up. One CPS employee says the tracker helps determine the next steps.
This then provides us with additional summary district level information on where we are with the number of students and the number of staff that are affected or currently out due to COVID. This will allow us to monitor what's occurring across the district and for us to make larger decisions about whether or not we have to have a larger school building closure.
CPS will continue to update the new tracker daily. We talked to CPS parents with students in quarantine and their experiences just less than a week after having their students back in the classroom. Just after parents got their kids sitting in their desks, 120 elementary school students are now in quarantine. 19 out of 21 of the elementary schools have a positive COVID-19 case. One mom of an elementary school student says she is pleased with the way the district has dealt with the close contact tracing.
We received a phone call in the evening from our principal, who reached out to let us know personally that our oldest had been in close contact in his classroom with a kiddo who had tested positive.
Scott said the school nurse also called her to make sure parents had any further questions about the isolation period. Governor Mike Parson stopped in Boone County this morning as Election Day draws closer. The governor was in Columbia, rolled up in his red bus this morning, and was greeted by voters. Parson reminded everyone to vote on November 3rd and endorsed President Donald Trump's re-election. Laura Trump made a special video for Missouri voters encouraging them to vote red down the ballot. Parson says he wants to continue to help Missourians.
Focusing on workforce development and infrastructure, those are not political issues. Those are just good things for everyday Missourians. And when you have an unemployment rate of 3.1, and you have the African-American unemployment rate, the lowest it's ever been in those history, those are good things.
Parson's opponent, Nicole Galloway, made a stop in Cape Girardeau today. She spoke to a small group of supporters at a local union hall. Other candidates for state and local offices were also in attendance. Galloway stressed that if elected, she would have a much stronger response to the pandemic compared to Parson.
Listening to public health experts, an actual contact tracing program, because we do not have one in this state, rapid testing, a statewide mask rule. These are things that health experts have told us that will contain the spread of the virus, so we can avoid further shutdowns.
Galloway said that she'd be continuing to campaign on the road after tonight's event. Coming up, President Trump speaks to supporters as he makes his final campaign push. And Joe Biden speaks at a Georgia rally on the importance of this election.
Temperatures are a little chilly now, you can see, for a lot of us in the United States, even getting down to 41 in Dallas. They feel very similar to us, actually. I'm tracking a big warm-up as we head towards November. Coming up.
Never be surprised by the weather. Download the free KOMU 8 Weather and Traffic app. Brought to you by Central Bank of Boone County.
Caleb Rowden's attacks against Judy Baker have been called unfair, dishonest, and lies. The truth? Rowden sides with Donald Trump and the special interests. Expand Medicaid to 200,000 working Missourians? He said no. Protect Missouri families with pre-existing conditions? Rowden is against it. Caleb Rowden took over $3 million from special interests and stands with Trump and the drug and insurance companies. Caleb Rowden, standing with them, not us.
Sometimes life situations can seriously beat up your credit score. But how are you supposed to recover without a car? Jim Butler's Fresh Start program is here to get you an affordable, reliable car without heavyweight payments or ridiculous terms. Our financing experts will work to get you back in the driver's seat, no matter how many left hooks life's thrown at you. Visit JimButlerFreshStart.com and get started today.
Supporters of Amendment 3 claim it will reduce lobbyist gifts. That's deceptive. It only changes the limit by $5. But Amendment 3 is a big gift to politicians. Hidden in the fine print, it lets lobbyists and insiders draw legislative maps to protect politicians. They're hoping we're so distracted by the wrapping paper on Amendment 3 that we forget what's actually inside. Vote down their dirty tricks. Vote no on Amendment 3.
Next time on Justice with Judge Maybelline.
Did you say these words to her? I'm surprised you can afford this house.
Well, she's a single woman, and I didn't see any evidence of two earners.
So you think only two earning incomes can afford the house that she had?
Nowadays, yes.
Did you know her?
No, ma'am.
Did you know how much money she earned?
No, ma'am.
How did you know she didn't earn an income that more than three earners earn?
I jumped to a conclusion, Your Honor.
Yeah, a real negative conclusion.
Tomorrow at 1 on the Mid-Missouri CW.
Amanda and James on the Maury Show. They're back. She's determined to prove this is his 15th child.
I didn't know when she got pregnant because she's a cheater.
I'm tired of doing it by myself. You gonna step up and be a father and a husband, or you gonna step away?
Letitia proved William was the father. She's back. He's up to his denying ways again. You have a lot of trust issues with her.
I do. The constant sneaking.
Is he the dad? On the next moment.
Tomorrow at noon on the Mid-Missouri CW. The First Alert Weather Cam is brought to you by Harper, Evans, Wade, and Nettemeyer. If you've been seriously injured in an accident, visit lawmissouri.com.
Welcome back. With Election Day only a week away, the candidates for president are making their final push on the campaign trail. KOMU 8's Marian Bouchot joins us now from the newsroom with what President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden are telling supporters as they wrap up their campaigns.
Both candidates continued their final campaign push as we get closer and closer to Election Day. President Trump campaigned in the Midwest today, making stops in 3 key battleground states. The president spoke in Michigan and Wisconsin, 2 states he flipped in 2016, and in Nebraska. Thousands of supporters showed up on a cold, rainy day in Lansing to hear Trump's closing message a week out from Election Day. The president urged supporters to get out to the polls and make their voices heard.
Look, this is the most important election in the history of our country, or I wouldn't be standing here like this. Everybody, you got to go out and vote. You got to go.
Onto the other side of the race, presidential candidate Joe Biden campaigned in Georgia today with 2 events there. Biden told supporters there to clear the deck for action if he's elected, so the country can unite to control the pandemic and heal from the nation's climate of anger and division. Similar to President Trump, he emphasized to his supporters how important it is to go get out and vote next Tuesday.
Folks, it's go time. There's 1 week left. Millions of Americans, over 60 million Americans, have already voted, and millions more by the end of this week. I believe when you use your power, the power to vote will change the course of this country.
The candidates will continue their final push the rest of the week, with Biden's team set to visit Texas and Iowa, and President Trump making 2 appearances tomorrow in Arizona, another state he won 4 years ago. In the newsroom, Marian Bouchot, KOMU 8 News.
Coming up, why MoDOT is looking to add more workers before winter hits.
And look at our temperatures tomorrow. We're starting off in the middle 30s and then warming to around 50 in the afternoon. We're on a bit of a warming trend in the next couple days. Latest track coming up.
They're overwhelmed. They've got an insurance company in their face, and they don't know if they're being straight with them or not.
First and foremost is to alleviate or to reduce some of the worry or the stress that's involved in one of these situations.
I think certainty in a time of chaos is the most important, that they know they've hired somebody and they've got somebody in their corner.
Because anytime that you're dealing with an injury, that in and of itself can be overwhelming.
She cheated on her current boyfriend.
I did cheat with my ex-husband.
Who she also cheated on while they were married.
She developed a scandalous reputation.
When you cheat, do they put it in the newspaper?
Can she prove her boyfriend is the dad?
There's a lot of people doubting.
Is there anyone else that could be the father?
Then she's caught him talking to multiple women.
I can't help that. I am a very attractive guy.
Boy, I've been through hell with you.
On the next Wilkos.
Tomorrow at 9 on Mid-Missouri CW. Download the free KOMU 8 News app. Brought to you by Lordex Spine Center.
Hello. Oh. I wish to inquire about your free phone deal. Is there anything hidden I should be aware of?
No, sir.
No hidden plan requirements?
You choose your plan.
No hidden phone trade-ins?
Keep your phone.
No hidden activation fees or other trickery where video recorded evidence would be beneficial?
None.
Interesting.
Lovely scarf.
What camera?
Get the latest phones free with no hidden requirements. U.S. Cellular. Upgrade to Fair.
Non-stop news is something new we've designed to fit your busy morning. 15 minutes of commercial-free, uninterrupted information.
Non-stop news is the latest on what happened overnight and what's happening right now.
Right now, school officials are meeting to discuss online learning.
Non-stop news is live traffic updates and your first alert forecast. We're tracking showers and thunderstorms later today.
15 minutes of commercial-free, non-stop news every weekday morning from 6:45 to 7. Only on KOMU 8 News Today. Coverage you can count on.
What's happening right now? The Trump campaign says its website was defaced tonight in an apparent online attack. The site briefly showed a warning saying it had been seized because, quote, the world has had enough of the fake news spread daily by President Donald J. Trump. The website has since been restored. A spokesperson for the campaign says they are working with law enforcement to investigate the hack. Back here in mid-Missouri, MoDOT has seen significant turnover the past 4 years, with about 2,500 workers leaving since 2016. The chief safety and operations officer says the department needs about 3,400 drivers to run snowplows, and of that, about 250 positions still need to be filled. MoDOT says the pandemic is largely to blame for that shortage.
It's not unusual to have 350, 400 positions that we want to fill. A lot of times in a lot of seasons, we can fill the majority of those empty positions in one round of hiring. We just don't have the luxury of that this year. So in a lot of the districts, we're on our second or third round of hiring right now.
Despite the shortage, she says drivers shouldn't see a huge difference on major routes other than operations taking a little longer. Overall, MoDOT says it feels prepared for winter weather.
Well, this season in the Atlantic hurricane season, every single named cyclone has been a record-breaking earliest formation of that number of cyclone, except for 3 at the beginning. Number 1, 2, and 4, Arthur, Bertha, and Dolly here this year were not record-breaking. Everything else has been by multiple days. Only 2 days here for Gonzalo, but everything else is more than that. Only 4 for Nana, but otherwise 20 days has been most recent, and then now we're getting into the 30-day time period, even 41 for Delta here. And by the way, everything from number 21 all the way through 28 only occurred one other time, in 2005, including Zeta here with number 27. Our Zeta, number 27, is 35 days earlier than the only other time the 27th storm has formed in a season, back in 2005. And for number 28, Eta for us just has to form before December 30th for that to be a record. And then if we keep going any further past 28, it will then be the first time we've ever seen that in our record book for the Atlantic hurricane season. Right now, this is Zeta. Here you can see it very well in the Gulf of Mexico. We have some moisture also in Texas. This is the main moisture that we're going to be seeing, that I'm going to be tracking for us on Thursday. But what's going to happen is this is slowly pushing up towards the east, and Zeta, as it moves to the north, will only help to kind of boost it towards us a little bit. So let me show you this track right now. Tropical storm Zeta here has 65-mile-per-hour winds. Was a hurricane, then it went over the Yucatan Peninsula, similar to the most recent hurricane as well. And then it degraded down into a tropical storm. It's expected to become a hurricane once again very soon, and then make landfall along Louisiana and then eventually into Mississippi as a Category 1 hurricane tomorrow. In about less than 24 hours, likely this will be making its way inland, and then it'll continue up in its curve towards Washington, D.C. But for us, this is what we're looking at. So as this comes to fruition tomorrow and it starts to move in, this is tomorrow at noon, some of this moisture out from the southwest is going to start to roll into Missouri, and it will only continue to kind of push up to the north as this Gulf moisture comes towards us as well. And so here's 10 p.m. tomorrow, about 24 hours from now. I'm going to be watching this rain move in. We're going to be seeing rain likely in 24 hours from now, by the way. And then as that moves through, we'll continue seeing rain all night, maybe even some rumbles of thunder, but otherwise it will just rain all night. And then on Thursday morning, it will start to decrease a bit and slowly push down towards the south. The bulk of this rain, the folks that are going to see the most rain here, are likely going to be those south of Interstate 70, where you could see about a half an inch, maybe even more, but around half an inch is possible for folks south of I-70. And then that's going to clear out. We're going to see a pattern change. We're seeing a lot of sunshine on Friday and on Saturday, too. For Halloween, a lot of America going to see that sunshine. And this pattern change is going to give us warmer temperatures in November. Here's an early look at the 4th through the 10th of November. Just right around seasonal conditions, if not slightly above, but remaining fairly dry in our precipitation potential. So, again, after this rain here on Thursday, expect a lot of dry time and some warmer temperatures for November, at least the beginning of November. 34 for your low temperature tonight with north winds 3 to 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow we're at 51 for that high temperature with northeast winds 5 to 10. And then our temperatures are going to cool a little bit on Thursday thanks to that rainfall, but we're at 47, above freezing. We're not expecting any more winter weather this week. And then 54 on Friday, 60 on Saturday, a seasonal one on Halloween, cooling on Sunday to 51, and then we'll be back to seasonal conditions for early November. Here's your Weather IQ question for the day, sponsored by Jiffy Lube. The record lowest temperature in Colombia on Halloween is 12 degrees, 22 degrees, or 32 degrees. The coldest Halloween, 22 degrees from the 90s.
The NBA returned to Kansas City after a 35-year absence. Get the details next in sports.
Mike Parson is always looking out for himself. Just listen to this.
I was Parson's chief of staff when he took over 900 gifts from lobbyists.
That's Parson's former top aide. He said Parson would introduce laws on behalf of lobbyists who contributed to his campaign without having any idea what the laws did. Parson got the perks. We felt the pain. Nearly 100,000 kids kicked off of health care. Rural hospitals closed. Don't be fooled. Mike Parson is out for himself, not us.
If you've become disabled, it can be difficult to get the benefits you deserve. A simple mistake in your application can cost you months of benefits. The process can be long and frustrating, but it doesn't have to be. Let the law offices of Karen Cross Bill help you, even if you've been denied before. As a local firm, we have won thousands of disability claims over the past 25 years. Don't wait. Contact the law offices of Karen Cross Bill today for a free consultation. At the law offices of Karen Cross Bill, disability law is all we do.
Attention! Have you or a loved one suffered from maculopathy, a serious retinal injury, after taking the prescription drug Elmiron for interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome? In 2018, a researcher at the Emory School of Medicine linked Elmiron, a prescription drug that treats interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome, to maculopathy, which is sight-threatening and can cause an abrupt change of vision. Call Elmiron Justice for a free legal consultation.
Please call 800-396-4151.
Now, from the Ford Sports Desk, KOMU 8 Sports.
Missouri head coach Eli Drinkwood said today that while his team has no active COVID-19 cases as of the most recent testing, his squad is down to 64 scholarship players due to non-COVID injuries, opt-outs, transfers, and the dismissal of wide receiver Maurice Massey on Monday. This week's opponent, Florida, returned to the practice field yesterday after 2 weeks in quarantine. And a report this afternoon says the Gators have 6 new positive cases, making 37 total cases on the team since their last game on October 10th. Recall, Missouri and Florida were supposed to play last Saturday. Mizzou has seen multiple schedule changes in the past month, and Eli Drinkwood says that uncertainty is just something they're rolling with every day.
I think 2020 in general has taught us to be able to adjust, and I think it was right before our first staff meeting of the walkthroughs, I said the key word for our staff would be flexibility and being able to adjust based off of whatever the circumstances that are presented to us. You just go in assuming they'll be at full strength, and you know, we know the challenges we have. We know what kind of schemes they're going to try to run, and then we'll adjust while we're, you know, in the game.
Meanwhile, elsewhere in the SEC, Lane Kiffin is smarting from Saturday's loss to Auburn, and he's also $25,000 lighter in the wallet. But he probably shouldn't be. The SEC fined Kiffin for criticizing this call in Saturday's Ole Miss-Auburn game. You can see on the replay, the ball on this kickoff appears to go off an Auburn player and then is recovered in the end zone, which should have been an Ole Miss touchdown. It was called a touchback, and Ole Miss lost by 7. The SEC admitted that officials should have reviewed the play. Kiffin joked that he might pay his $25,000 fine in pennies. The prospect of NBA basketball returning to Kansas City is picking up steam as the Toronto Raptors search for a potential temporary U.S. home for the 2020-2021 season. The Raptors and the rest of the league finished last season in the NBA's Orlando bubble. It appears the NBA wants to return to home arenas when the new season begins, either late this year or early next. But due to the same Canadian border restrictions that forced the Toronto Blue Jays to play in Buffalo this summer, the Raptors may need to find a U.S. home this season. And today, Kansas City leaders, including the mayor, Missouri Senator Roy Blunt, both senators from Kansas, and the management at the T-Mobile Center, sent an official statement of interest to the NBA to host the Raptors in downtown KC. They also sent this care package to NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. Kansas City has not had an NBA team since the Kings left for Sacramento in 1985. Finally, a cold night for some high school soccer. The Rockbridge Bruins hosting Capital City and up 6-0 at halftime. The Cavaliers trying to stay in it somehow. A great save here by their keeper, but it was still a big deficit. Rockbridge's offense was unstoppable all night long. Senior Lucas Godon is going to take this one right down the middle of the field and score his second goal of the game, and that made it 7-0 Bruins right off the post. Building off that momentum, it's going to be sophomore Sam McCrary with an excellent pass to Andrew Copeland for the final goal. 8-0 the score as Rockbridge wins, and they are on a 6-game unbeaten streak heading into districts. And that's sports.
The Jacuzzi Factory Truckload event has been extended at Columbia Pool and Spa. Get 0% interest for 60 months or a rebate up to $2,000 on all jacuzzi hot tubs. Columbia Pool and Spa is stocked with jacuzzi hot tubs, and the truck is on its way with even more. Hurry for the best selection and get your hot tub delivered and set up in time for the cold weather months. 0% for 60 months or a rebate up to $2,000. The Jacuzzi Factory Truckload event ends Saturday at Columbia Pool and Spa. Don't miss it.
Mental health is tough to talk about, so we're going to talk about it a lot. Depression is a common illness that can vary in severity and affects about 1 in 15 adults yearly. Symptoms include loss of interest, changes in appetite, trouble making decisions, or thoughts of death. Those with depression respond well to treatment, medication, or a combination with talk therapy. We have resources on our website. KOMU8 cares about a brighter tomorrow.
Coming up tonight at 10, we take a look back at 1 year of our MVP series. We know the past year, especially 2020, has been difficult, but we've still found a lot of good to share with you. From the love brewing on Business Loop 70 to the man who goes Corona caroling to lift people's spirits, there are still things happening that are sure to make you smile.
I hope they forget for a while that, we're in a troubled time.
So make sure to join us tonight at 10. We'll remind you of some of the most valuable people right here in mid-Missouri. Kenton.
I can't wait for that, Emily. I think we can all use a little bit of that, certainly. And take a look at our satellite and radar. Still some mist and drizzle out there, but it's not freezing. It's not expected to be freezing much. We're only cooling to about 34 here tonight, and then warming to about 51 on your Wednesday. We'll be around 47 on Thursday. Remember, rain moves in tomorrow evening around this time and then continues overnight and then slowly pushes back to the south again on Thursday. So areas south of I-70 will see the bulk of our rain throughout that system. Then we're at 54 on Friday, and the sun comes out, and we're going to hold on to that sunshine for a lot of days in the future. So we're getting out of this kind of dreary weather.
Missing the sun, yeah. It's hard to get up in the morning when it's still, kind of dreary and dark outside.
Yeah, well, and that's going to change too with the time change. We're falling back an hour, so you're going to get the sun earlier in the day, but that means it gets darker earlier.
And all the kids are going to be confused about when to wake up.
On air, online, on Facebook and Twitter, on the news app, on the weather app, and now